Love or loving? Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." We take this very seriously, because who doesn't want freedom? You might want freedom from a relationship, freedom from a really bad job, freedom from your own mind, freedom from any kind of limitation. So what is this thing called freedom? Well, it seems like most people want to be free from something. But what about the idea of being free to be something? The freedom to be who we really have been created to be. The freedom to reach our full innate potential. And I think that our greatest freedom is the freedom to love. Telling someone that they have the freedom to love is like telling someone who is broke that they have the freedom to spend all the money they want. How can I spend any money? I don't have any. So a person might feel, how can I have the freedom to love when I don't have any love? We have been conditioned to believe that love is a commodity that is given and received. Many feel that they have not actually received enough love in this lifetime. Now, by receiving love, I mean there's a little love bank account that everybody has for hovering over here on the left side. And when someone's kind to you, it goes into the little love bank account. When somebody says, I love you, it goes into your little love bank account. When somebody strokes you and says you're wonderful, it goes into the little love bank account. So now you have a love reserve. So when I want to love somebody, I got to take it out of the love bank over here. A person who feels like they've lived a loveless life has no love to give because their love bank is empty. They didn't even know they had a love bank. But I'm saying that that's an erroneous conception. From early on, we get the growing sense that our prosperity, our happiness, our health, everything in our life has to do with what happens out here. We're dependent on what happens around us. We learn to live life from the outside in. The tone of our lives is based on what happens on the outside world. Now, if you ever watch the news or you read a newspaper, most of it's not very happy and not very pretty. So if you are basing your life in that direction, no wonder people actually feel unloved. We become other-directed. We live our life at the circumference instead of from the center out. So divine science teaches us to live life from the inside out, not from the outside in. There are many words in the English language that actually describe a state of personal fulfillment and fullness. We have joyful, peaceful, cheerful, faithful, grateful, successful. But there's one really important word that's missing from that. Loveful. I'm a loveful person, meaning I am full of the power of love. I'm a cheerful person. I am full of the power of cheer, of good cheer. I am a successful person because I am full of the power of success. So where is this word loveful in our language? It should be there. It's a great word. Love is not an emotional state or a sensual experience. It is not the plaything of human volition. Love is the action of a totally transcendent power, and it is a process that works through us. It doesn't come to us, ever. In Genesis it says, in the beginning, God. Okay, we all know that. In John it says, God is love. So the word, capital W word, we're going to say the word is love. So we can start Genesis like this. In the beginning, love. And love was with God. And love was God. I like that. I like the way that sounds. I like the way that feels. We are created in and of love. No matter how far we stray from our inner core to the circumference of our everyday life, we are always rooted and grounded in the allness of love. I love this statement. Wherever God is at all, the whole of God must be. And because God is omnipresent, the whole of God's love must be present at every point in space. Here's a point in space. Here's a point in space. There's a point in space. There's a point in space. Every place there is love. There are no God empty spots. There are no love empty spots. God is not to be contacted out there as far as we are concerned individually. God, love, is present in entirety at every point where you are. Wherever there's a person standing is holy ground. You do not have to go to church and sit in a sanctuary to be on holy ground. You can be in Walmart, in line, and be on holy ground. Just think Walmart stock would go way up if they actually thought that. You are always in the presence of the infinite and eternal love energy from which all things flow. All the time, whether you feel it, whether you know it or not, you are there. So, what is the human dilemma? It's not the absence of love, because I just said we are love. Because God is here, I'm here, love is here. So the human dilemma is the frustration of the love that's already here. Love is probably one of the most misunderstood words, I think, of all time. We use it all the time. We give love, we have love, I'm loveless, I love you, I don't love you. Right? We think of it as a very specific thing that we give, or that we take, or that we receive. And of course, we all know there's lots of romantic myths about falling in love across a crowded room. So in every crowded room you go into, what do? Right? You're looking for that love across, we're looking for that instantaneous, that love. But love is not something you fall into or fall out of. It is the action of cosmic law. Love is the depth potential in every single person. So there's a I was going to say particular, but it's also very peculiar plant that grows in South America. And it's kind of like the tumbleweed of the Midwest. And what it does is it's roots, and it's like a bundle of like roots and leaves, and it blows along in the wind. And then when it finds a wet spot where it can grow, it sends down all of its roots, and it grows green and beautiful. And as soon as it dries up, it pulls its roots up out of the ground. It all gets into this bally thing and goes flying along until it finds another wet spot. It puts its roots down. It grows up beautiful and green. As soon as it dries up, it pulls up its roots and everything. So it is never more really than a bundle of dead roots and leaves, blowing along and occasionally grounding itself. I would like to speculate that people's relationships are much like that. Or maybe even exactly like that. And so people actually end up being no more than a bundle of unfulfilled desires and burning thirsts because they never really get it. Because they're looking for it out there. We have experienced love as an emotion. Love that has the desire to possess, jealousy, and hurt. And I know that there is not one person in this room who has ever been unaffected by the fear of rejection. Because if all of you went through middle school and high school, I know that for a fact. We know what that was like. So we're fearful of rejection from this other person that we say we love. But the cosmic energy that I'm talking about in love is way more than that. In fact, it isn't even that. It's not that. You do not give me love, nor do I give you love. The only thing we can do is be loving. We can be loving. Because love is not given or taken. But love is a state of consciousness that you exude out of your pores. If I'm being loving, I'm releasing that flow of love from within, which is expanding. If I'm being unloving, I'm frustrating the flow from within. Now, you guys have always heard me talk about standing on the hose. Well, some people are, both feet on the hose. Both feet are on the hose. That's right. We are restricting the flow of love with both feet on the hose. Not just a toe on the hose, not just a foot on the hose. Both feet are firmly planted on the hose of love. There is no love coming out. Nothing. It's like dead. That's because we think love comes from out there in here. We don't realize we're standing on our own hose. When I talk about turning on the light, I'm saying it's the same thing. Let the light shine. Let the love come out of you. Let the light come out of you. You don't get it from out there and then put it in and then it comes out. It's already there. That is the gift that has already been given. And we don't have to deserve it. We don't even have to try to get it. It's there already. All we have to do is say yes. Yes, yes. We do not love because we are loved, and we do not love if somebody else loves us. We love because God loved us first. And 1 John said, God first loved us. And because God is within us as a focus of being us, love always flows from within out to the degree that we allow that to happen. So I have a question. Are you standing on your love hose? Are you standing on your love hose? I never thought those words would ever come out of my mouth, but there they are. Are you standing on the hose? And this is something to contemplate. Are you standing on your love hose? Is anything coming out, or are you stopping it up? You can love because God, the totality of love, is the source of love within you. You are always, always, always loved and supported. No matter how far you step into the circumference of your life, way out here, God is love. God is there. So we are always in love. And I don't mean, I'm in love. I mean in love. It's like, if I ask about, well, where's love? That's like a fish saying, okay, where's the water? Come on, I know it's here somewhere. Where's the water? Come on. And then some wise old fish says, I'm going to talk to you about something that everyone in the universe is looking for. And it's a mysterious thing, and it's called water. Love is the very essence of our being. You don't have to search for it. You don't have to go take a class to find it. You just got to step off the hose. Oh, and the love comes flying out of there. It's like, whoa. You can't help yourself. It is our milieu. It is like the air we breathe. It is the reality that we either express or frustrate. That's it. We're in charge of that, not somebody outside of ourselves. That should be a powerful revelation to every one of us. And it should make us go, wow, that feels so much better. I thought it was my fault. Well, we don't like to use the word fault. But what I want to say is that you are in control of it, of the feeling of the love. So get off your love hose. Don't stand on it anymore. In Matthew 5, it says, love your enemies and pray for those who spitefully use you. Now, it's so easy to love the people who love you, isn't it? Oh, it's so easy. But the ones who spitefully use you, not so much. That's a little harder. So what does that mean? Well, Jesus is saying, stop resisting and start loving. You may say, I just can't love that person. I've tried and tried. I just can't love that person. Don't make me love that person. To try to love somebody is not love. Because love is not trying, it's being. It is not creating a facade of acceptance. It is letting go and giving way to that concentric flow that is already within us. The great philosopher Charlie Brown said, wait for it, I love all of mankind. It's people I can't stand. I can see him in his little striped T-shirt saying that, a little drawing. How can I love these people? I don't even like them. Love is not the intensive of the word like. You don't like him, now you love him. No. Like is a word that's used for our outer personality. I like blue, I don't like black. I love purple, I love the beach, I hate the mountains. I like this kind of bike, I don't like to ride that kind of bike. I like this part of town, I don't like that part of town. That's just all outer stuff. Love is a willingness to let God's love flow through us in the direction of your involvement. So whatever you're living out there, whatever's at the circumference of your life, let love flow out to that. But it has nothing to do with liking or not liking. Now, here's the tricky part. If you say you cannot love a person, it is not because they are unlovable, because no one is unlovable. It is that you have a prejudice in you or an enmity towards that person, and you are so out of the flow that you can't even love them. Nobody wants to take that kind of responsibility into themselves. It means you are holding on to some kind of resistance and stopping up the flow and stepping on the love hose. You're doing it. They're just being who they are. And you can like them or not like them, in an outer personality kind of way, but you are obligated to love them. But the way you do that is by getting off the hose and letting the love flow, and then you don't have an issue with them at all because there's no enmity, there's no resistance, there's nothing. But so it always comes from us first. A lot of us don't want to do the hard work of that, but the payoff is really worth it. Modern psychology says that man's greatest need is to be loved. So, if nobody loves me and I'm unlovable, I'm going to go in the garden and eat worms. That was one of my mom's favorite sayings. Well, just go in the garden and eat worms, she would say. I go say, Mom, we don't have a garden. I should go find them anyway. They're in the grass. Over just any funny little thing. Our greatest need is to love, not to be loved. We have supposed that our life lacks love because we have not been loved out there to in here. Some of us have never known or ever heard the words that God is in here loving through us. We've always been looking for it out there. Butterworth tells a story of a young girl in an orphanage, and she really caused a lot of problems. She was just not a happy child. And they were always catching her doing really weird little funny things. So one night the director happened to be looking out the window, and she saw this little girl running down the driveway and to the big gate, and she saw her standing there for a second, and then she runs back into the big house. And so she's thinking, I'm going to catch her. What is she doing, that little scoundrel? So she goes out there, she goes down the driveway, and she's standing there at the gates, and she sees this little paper in that branch that's like closest down, like almost to the ground. And she says, oh, I'm going to get her now. She gets the note, takes it upstairs, gets it under the light, and opens it up. And in this little kid's scrawly handwriting, it says, to anybody who finds this, I love you. So her ability to actually express love was somehow frustrated living in that environment. So there is a need in each one of us to reach out, to radiate love, to give love, because it's within us naturally. Now, as a child, you might have experienced what you would say was maybe an unloving upbringing. I'm sure there are a few people in here who would just raise their hand if I asked that question. If you felt like maybe you had an unloving upbringing. And it felt really bad at the time when you were a little kid. But now you're an adult. You can hang on to that feeling of unlovingness from your mother, your father, your siblings, whatever. You can hold on to that if you feel like it. I'm going to say you don't have to. The power is in the now moment. You can just let that go. You do not have to go over every horrible thing that happened to you as a child that made you feel unloved. You can decide right now and to know the truth about yourself right now. You are walking in love. So let's give up any childhood notion that your mom didn't love you enough. Just let it go. Because now you know different. Now you know better. Now you know that love comes from within out. Yes, it is hard on little kids whose parents treat them that way. But right now I'm talking to a room full of adults, and you know better. So let's embrace the bigger, the higher, the better, the more exciting thing, and forget all that other stuff. If we were not made in love, we wouldn't yearn for it. We wouldn't yearn to express it. It wouldn't even be in there anywhere. We wouldn't even know about it. But it's there because God is there, because love is there. And I would like to say you cannot be whole, you cannot be healthy, you cannot be the person you are meant to be unless you are in tune with the flow of love that is within you right now. Now here's the kicker. You love others through loving yourself. Did she really say that? Oh, but loving yourself is selfish. Nope, you can't love yourself. No. By getting to know yourself and loving yourself, you can know and love others. Because what's true about you is true about them also. It's not different. We are the same in that way. We are one in that way. Loving yourself and knowing yourself, what are we? An individualized expression of God. We just said it earlier. And rejoicing in it. Walking in it. Walking in the fullness of that and feeling so good about your life. That joy radiates out to all the other people that you come into contact with. So let's reflect on this for a moment. You cannot give love to anyone. No one can give love to you. But you can be loving by creating an environment in which others find it easy to radiate the love that is also within them that they may not even know about until you open them up. You open a way out for them because of your love. And you might have just had a really hideous childhood, and they may even know that. But you turned into a really loving person. Well, how did that happen? Because you decided love didn't come from the love box up here. It came from within. You weren't depending on people to throw love into the love bank in order to have love. So it doesn't go from here to the love bank to you and then you get to give it away. No, it's already in here and you give it away first. So love is the action of divine law. It is the action of God in you. Now, as far as finding the right partner in life, because no discussion of love would ever be complete unless you talked about that. You do not find the right person for you. You have to be the right person. When you love yourself, you are secure and you are within dependent. Not with independent. Within dependent. You are not outer dependent. You are not dependent on everything and everybody outside yourself. If you do not love yourself, you are not centered in the reality of yourself, which is love. So you're not letting yourself be love. You are dependent on your security, for security, on whether a person acts lovingly towards you or not. To me, that's a hellish place to be in consciousness. I mean, that's like being in hell, right there. I mean, everybody knows I don't believe in hell as a separate place, that we go to after death. But what we call death, because we don't ever die. I say there is no separate place called heaven or hell. It is in consciousness right now, because that's what Jesus said. And I believe him. Because you know people who are in hell right this minute. Oh boy, are they in hell. The depth of hell. There's no devil there with the tail and, the spear. But they are in hell in consciousness. And you know people are in heaven right now. Oh, they're so wonderful. They're so happy. It's just fantastic. It's wonderful. And where are the rest of the people? I don't know. I don't know where they are. Oh, well, no, the Catholics gave up purgatory, so I'm not really sure. Right, Rick? Yeah, I think they gave up purgatory. I think they decided at some meeting that there was no purgatory. So when I'm saying it, well, there are a few survived Catholics in this room. Probably. But that's okay. I mean, we can do it a different way. So let's not be dependent on our security for something out there. So that means finding the right partner if you're being the love that you are, that perfect person will be drawn right to you. But that means you got to love yourself. You have to love yourself first. Because loving yourself and knowing who you are attracts that person to you. So there's no effort, there's no work. It just happens in this love flow because you're off the hose. You're not worried about whether they're going to love you first. You're not drawing from this thing over here. You just feel so good because you love yourself. You know who you are and as an individualized expression of God. So do not let the world at the circumference of your life try to squeeze you into that mold. But let God be God in you. Let God remold you from within. Get off your hose. Be willing to get off that hose. And let that love shine. Dostoevsky, I can't even say his name, I'm not Russian. Dostoevsky wrote this. Love all of God's creation. The whole and every grain of sand in it. Love every leaf, every ray of God's light. Love the animals, love the plants, love everything. If you love everything, you will perceive the divine mystery of things. Once you perceive it, you will begin to comprehend better every day. And you will come to at last to love the whole world with an all-embracing love. This calls us to be conscious of what we're thinking, change our thinking if it is anything other than from the loving perspective. If you do this, you can philosophize right along with Charlie Brown. You can say, I love all of mankind, and I love all people as I love myself. Let's be still for a moment. We're not going to turn off the lights or do anything like that. Just get comfy in your seat for just a few moments. We're going to reflect on a few of the things I've said here for just a few moments. And let's be still and know the truth for all of the people on our Valley Community Prayer List, for all the people whose names might be in that prayer box right now, for anyone that you may be holding in consciousness. We know that this is true for them as well as true for ourselves. Let us get the sense that all people are innately wonderful, beautiful, and loveful. We decide right now to practice looking through people, to the heart of them, to the soul of them, to the love that is within them, instead of looking at them. We salute the divinity within them, and we celebrate love as the one great reality in which we all live, move, and have our being. Whatever else God is me. Not that I am all of God, but that I am that something that I call God as it is expressing itself as me. God is life, and I am that life manifesting in my body temple. God is intelligence, and I am that intelligence in the form of the wisdom of my mind. God is power, and I am that power in the form of my strength and creativity to build and shape my life. God is love, and I am that love expressing in and through and as my loving heart. Say to yourself right now, and know this for everyone, God is love in me. I am the very activity of love. I have all the love I need to love everyone and everything. For everyone and everything is created in and of love. I am loving to everyone I meet today, even if someone treats me unfairly or unjustly, not because they deserve to be loved, but because I do. For I know that my life is for loving. Let me be alive and loveful as long as I live. And so it is.